Row 18, plot 20.
The world's leading purveyor of top-quality B-movie schlock, Troma Entertainment has been pumping out movies for almost half a century at this point, with the studio still producing the occasional "so bad it's good" gem to this day. Troma's catalog is bogged down with some pretty awful movies. However, there are plenty of others that have taken the world by storm, developing a firm cult following thanks to their tongue-in-cheek humor, over-the-top gore, and provocative charm. To help you decide which of Troma's extensive filmography is worth your time, these are the 10 best Troma movies ever made, ranked according to IMDb. Father's Day, 2011. Receiving multiple awards after its release at the Toronto After Dark Film Festival, Father's Day tells the story of the not-so-subtly named Ahab, who's determined to exact vengeance on the Father's Day killer, a brutal serial killer who murdered his father 30 years previously. Produced by Lloyd Kaufman and Michael Herz, Father's Day captures the nasty essence of grindhouse cinema admirably, standing out as an instant B-movie classic in the eyes of die-hard Troma fans. Romeo and Juliet, 1996. One of the most enduring cult favorites in all of Troma, the unapologetically edgy Romeo and Juliet retells the classic Shakespeare story, albeit with a great deal more gratuitous sex and violence, as well as a distinct punk rock aesthetic. Co-written and co-directed by James Gunn of Guardians of the Galaxy fame, the movie forges an unholy union between Lloyd Kaufman and James Gunn, and the result is one of Troma's most frenetically funny, over-the-top efforts to date. Poultrygeist, Night of the Chicken Dead, 2006. Another modern Lloyd Kaufman classic, Poultrygeist, Night of the Chicken Dead, follows a group of fast food employees who become trapped in their restaurant by a flock of demonic zombie chickens. Reveling in its own absurdity, the movie is a ton of fun, quickly becoming a firm Troma favorite following its 2006 release. A shining example of a movie so intentionally bad that it's good, Poultrygeist has a lot of heart, despite its unapologetically edgy sense of humor. Citizen Toxie, The Toxic Avenger 4, 2000. The fourth entry in the popular Toxic Avenger franchise, Citizen Toxie, The Toxic Avenger 4, is the most critically well-received installment since the original. Despite this, the movie certainly isn't for the faint of heart, standing as one of the most intentionally offensive movies in the entirety of Troma's catalog. Living up to the franchise's penchant for chaotic violence and over-the-top gore, Citizen Toxie's tongue-in-cheek, one of the most perverse and out-there movies Troma has ever released. And that's really saying something. 1999's Terra Firma follows the exploits of a low-budget film crew who are terrorized by a sadistic serial killer on set. Containing some of the most hilariously brutal violence you're ever likely to see in a comedy horror, Terra Firma's R-rated release had to be heavily censored to receive the appropriate classification, cutting a whopping 16 minutes of footage from the movie. What's more, the script was also co-written by popular director James Gunn, returning to work with Troma following his work on Romeo and Juliet. The Toxic Avenger, 1984. Arguably the quintessential Troma movie, The Toxic Avenger follows ordinary mop boy Melvin as he finds himself mutated into a grotesque monster after falling into a vat of toxic waste. He subsequently takes up the mantle of the Toxic Avenger, making it his mission to clean up the streets of Tromaville. Incredibly gruesome and schlocky by design, the Toxic Avenger's ostentatiously grisly, tongue-in-cheek take on the superhero formula is perhaps even more relevant today than when it released, which is possibly part of the reason for its enduring success. Combat Shock, 1984. Probably amongst the least self-aware entries on this list, it's Combat Shock's sincerity that makes the movie a firm favorite amongst Troma fans. Telling the story of troubled Vietnam veteran Frankie, Combat Shock sees its central character spiral into madness thanks to a combination of PTSD and acute poverty. Widely considered one of the most disturbing movies Troma has ever released, the movie isn't as showy as other entries in the company's filmography, instead taking a much more nihilistic approach to its subject matter. Return to Nukem High, aka Volume 2, 2017. The fifth entry in the franchise started by the beloved Troma classic, Class of Nukem High. The confusingly titled Return to Nukem High, aka Volume 2, proves that Lloyd Kaufman's sensationalist streak remains fully intact, even after more than 40 years in the business. Following Lauren and her girlfriend Chrissy as they attempt to stamp out the epidemic started by their local high school's toxic tacos, the movie is surprisingly the highest-rated entry in the franchise. Boasting outlandish gore, crude humor, and Ron Jeremy as God, Return to Nukem High shows that the rebellious spirit of Troma is still alive and well. Dialing for Dingbats, 1989. In an unexpected turn for Troma Entertainment, 1989's romantic comedy Dialing for Dingbats eases off on the studio's trademark edginess, offering a much more earnest and light-hearted movie in the process. Surprisingly, the result is one of Troma's most critically well-received projects to date. Still, it's certainly not. Mutant Blast, 2018. The most recent Troma Entertainment title on this list, Mutant Blast, also happens to be the highest rated on IMDb, boasting an impressive score of 7.3, and even holds 100% on Rotten Tomatoes, while its zombie apocalypse setting may seem like a frustratingly overdone cliché. Mutant Blast merely uses this as an appropriate backdrop for its odyssey of absurdist, gross-out humor, extreme violence, and pure, unadulterated schlock, proving once and for all that Troma can still pump out high-grade B-movie entertainment. Mutant Blast is absolutely worth your attention. Thanks for watching today's video. Please check out Echo Cero for more #Troma Week. Hit that like and subscribe before you go, or else.
Pro 18,